Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome back. Today's video is my third trimester, probably my last pregnancy update. It has been a very long time since I did a pregnancy update. I think it was just in the beginning of my second trimester, maybe not even that, when I did my last one, and I just kind of stopped doing them because I had a really rough pregnancy, you guys. I've talked about it a little bit and I'll get into it a little bit more in this video, but this video I'm 38 weeks. In 2 days I'll be 39 weeks, which is further, right now I'm further than I ever got with my first pregnancy. My daughter is 6.5 now, so I'm further along, which is not what I expected. It's kind of a surprise, but I just have a lot of thoughts and feelings that I wanted to kind of record and put on the record before I give birth. I'm so excited and we are so ready and everything is going great as far as the baby's health and everything. My health is doing fine. It's just normal pregnancy symptoms that have been really rough on me, really tough to just do daily everyday things, and yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. But I wanted to film this video. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for pregnancy updates. I'm trying to post a little bit on Snapchat here and there so that you can kind of know what's going on and know that I'm still pregnant and stuff like that, but I wanted to film this video as much for you guys as for me because I have a lot of real intense feelings and emotions, I guess, going on about this. Not real intense, but just a lot of thoughts and feelings going on that I wanted to get on camera, so that's what I'm gonna do today. So I go to nurse midwives for my prenatal care. They're just nurse practitioners that they go by the label of midwives because their specialty is pregnancy and childbirth. So that's why a lot of times when I say midwives, people think that I have like someone coming into my home or that I'm going to some like sort of alternative medicine, but no, they're in the main hospital. I will be giving birth in a hospital. They're through the university hospital of our city, you know, so I don't know, not that there's anything wrong with being homeopathic. I just want to be like clear about what kind of care that I'm getting. I really like seeing the nurse midwives. They have really made me feel comfortable. That's who I saw for my first pregnancy, and they did a great job. They just in meeting my needs and making sure that I was comfortable and all of my wishes were met to the best degree possible, but also stepping in and giving me what I needed when I didn't know what I needed, you know what I mean? So they're really great in that. So I'm really happy with my prenatal care so far. So the nurse midwives consider 37 weeks full term, and a lot of people thought it was 36 weeks. I kind of thought it was 36 weeks, so I don't know if that's something that has changed. I hit full term when I hit 37 weeks, and like I said, in the middle of 38 weeks was when I had Lila, and I'm past that point now, so I really didn't expect that because she was so early, and it's more common to be even earlier in your second pregnancy. I thought for sure this one would be earlier, but she's not. She's still hanging out in there. I do feel like she has dropped, which means like she's getting ready to come out, you know, which is pretty normal. However, that can last for days or weeks before she actually comes out. I noticed that because for one thing, it's a little bit easier to breathe. I have a little bit less trouble breathing and I catch my breath less, but I can physically feel and visually see that my belly is different and that the baby is just lower. I just realized that I have sort of disclosed the gender to you guys. I never did a gender reveal, but it is a girl. We are having another girl. It was so emotional and exciting when we found out because I had such a feeling that it was going to be a boy. I don't know why. I had a few people telling me that they thought it was going to be a boy, and so when we went for the 20-week ultrasound and found out that it was a girl, I was crying. I was really surprised and I was really delighted because I'm excited to have 2 girls. I loved having Lila, having a girl, and I'm really excited to have another girl. It's going to be easier too because the girls are going to share a room, and I think Lila will be able to relate to her a little bit better. It's just going to be easier. My husband always said that he wanted to have a girl because he doesn't want to have a little boy that was like he was when he was a little boy, because he was apparently a terror. So yeah, so it is a girl. We are very excited about that. I'll show you guys some shots of my belly because I know you are probably interested in that, and again, I like to have that on record. With my first pregnancy, I didn't have a lot of pictures of my belly, and I remember wishing I had some more, so I made sure to take quite a few this pregnancy, not even that many, but more than I had. So one of the absolute worst symptoms that I've been getting lately is itchy legs. It sounds like kind of minor, and it is kind of minor. It's not like life-threatening or serious or anything like that, but it's like the worst symptom that I've been getting lately. Probably into the first couple weeks of my third trimester, nausea was my worst symptom. I was nauseous all the way through the first 2 trimesters into the third trimester, and then it finally cleared up. And so now I don't experience very much nausea at all. I'm not throwing up like every day like I was for a while, multiple times a day sometimes. So that has gotten a lot better. The itchy legs started in the middle of the second trimester, and really what they attributed it to was high volume of blood, weight gain, which is normal to happen at the point that it happened in the second trimester, I believe, and swelling. And I have had a lot of swelling. At first I didn't think that I had, and then all of a sudden it hit me, and I was noticing that like my feet were swollen when I would take my socks off, and even when I put on like flip-flops, you can just tell because there's an indentation. So it's kind of like all those things combined, you know, biologically, your legs, the veins have to work harder to pump the blood back to your heart because your legs are far, like the furthest away from your heart. So the blood can get kind of like built up in there, and that's where the swelling comes into play, and that's what they're telling me is why it's so itchy. For relief, I use a lot of the Shea Moisture shea butter lotion. I use a ton of that. I've also been using Sarna lotion, which is a medicated lotion that has camphor and menthol in it, and I will just slather that all over my legs, and it gives a really nice cooling sensation. It doesn't last super long, but it lasts enough to like relieve the itching. I used to take really hot baths, but that hasn't really been helping anymore. Plus I can't really get comfortable in the bath for a very long time. Laying on my back isn't super comfortable, especially on my lower back, so I haven't been doing the bath thing as much. Another thing that I have my Arbonne Aroma Essentials sea salt scrub with oils in it that I use to scrub my legs every time I shower, or if I do take a bath, I'll use that with like a body brush, and I will scrub towards my heart to kind of, well, for one thing, to itch my legs because it feels really good. The salt scrub feels really good, but also to increase that blood flow kind of to my legs, kind of like dry brushing, I guess. I don't know anything about dry brushing really, except that it's supposed to be good for circulation. But in my head, that's kind of what I'm helping the circulation as well. And then the oil in that sea salt scrub will absorb into my skin, and that helps kind of keep it a little bit moisturized too. But even when it's super duper moisturized, it still itches sometimes, and that is just, it's just really, really hard. I haven't ventured into support stockings. I have some that my dad gave me, but I can't put them on myself, so I don't wear them. The nurse midwives did give me an order to get support stocking, but I keep telling myself, like, by the time I get the appointment, get them fitted and get them, I'm gonna have the baby. Like, I keep kind of putting it off, so it's really my fault. It's no one else's fault. But also the thought of wearing tight stockings in the summer, I don't know if that would really work. We're having a pretty hot summer and very humid, so I don't know if I could wear support stockings anyways. So that's the worst symptom, and the worst is like when I start scratching without meaning to. Like if I'm sleeping, I wake myself up scratching. My legs have been bleeding. I've been scratching myself till I bleed, and then I'll scratch the scabs, and you know, I just kind of do it unintentionally. It's hard to describe because it doesn't feel like anything I've ever had, but it's just really, really uncomfortable and annoying. I just cannot wait for that to stop. Also, my belly has been itching. That started a little bit more recently, I think, with just the stretching. That's normal. I don't have any stretch marks on my belly yet, which I am very thankful for, but I do have a lot of itching, and I use the Sarna lotion and the other lotions on my belly as well, and that does help a little bit. But I don't have itching anywhere else. They did say that if you have itching on your palms or the soles of your feet, that could be a sign of something more serious. So if you do experience itching during your pregnancy, definitely let your healthcare professionals know, because it can be linked to other things. They just didn't think that it was in my case. So just wanted to make that note. So as far as weight gain and weight and stuff for me, I have gained a significant amount of weight. I'm at about 50 to 55 pounds, depending on where you consider me starting, because I lost weight in the beginning because I just couldn't eat. I wasn't eating, I wasn't I was so sick. I've gained about 55 pounds, which is a lot, I know. And I'm sure that you can tell, like I can tell in my videos, the difference between before and now. But, you know, honestly, like having been so sick and not being able to eat, not being able to keep food down, nothing smelled good or tasted good, and now I know the importance of having calories in my body and keeping myself healthy. The nurse midwives have not expressed any concern in my weight, and so I'm not too concerned about it. I also know that when I'm ready I can lose the weight. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to be open about that because I feel like a lot of the pregnant women that talk about their weight gain are the ones that have a small amount of weight gain, and I'm sure there are people that have more than me too, but I just want to be open about it and say that, like, the fact that I've gained about 55 pounds or so, it doesn't really bother me. Like, what does bother me a little bit is just like the way that I look sometimes, like the way that I look in certain clothes, the fact that I have very few clothes that fit me now. Even some of my maternity clothes are starting to get too small for me here in the end of the pregnancy. It's okay, like I said, I'm nearing the end. I've been wearing a lot of like maxi skirts and a lot of my maternity dresses that are really comfortable, so I've been doing just fine. It definitely is hard though to like catch yourself in the mirror or see yourself in a picture when you're just not looking the way that you want. Like, I love my baby bump. That is something that I looked forward to when I first got pregnant, and I used to just like imagine that it was showing before it was. I think you guys kind of noticed that. Like, I was so excited to have a baby bump, and I would get so offended when people would say, oh wow, you're not even showing. Like, I was like, no, I want to be showing. Like, I love having the baby bump. I love how that looks. I just think that is such a wonderful, I'm so proud of it, you know, I really am. But you know, other weight gain in other places and just my posture is different, things like that. It's kind of hard sometimes to see that, but at the same time, like, I mean, what I'm doing and what I'm going to get out of this is going to be so amazing that it's going to be all totally worth it, no doubt in my mind. Another really bad symptom I've been getting is heartburn. And the only time I ever get heartburn is when I'm pregnant, by the way. But I got heartburn throughout the first and second trimester a little bit. Second trimester, it got so bad that I started taking Tums, which they say you can take, they told me I could take 6 to 8 Tums a day, and that was working for a while. And then just my last appointment, she gave me a prescription because I said my heartburn was getting so bad that I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't, like, even if I went an hour without eating before laying down, anytime I would lay down it would be bad. Even when I didn't lay down it would be bad. It was getting really, really bad, and she prescribed Zantac, or the you know, non-brand name of it, which is ranitidine. That's hard to say. But she prescribed that, so it's something that I take twice a day, and that has actually surprisingly worked amazingly. Like, I did not expect it to work, especially like the first time I took it. I took it at night for the first time and didn't have heartburn at all throughout the night. I was so surprised, and they said it's one of the safest drugs, heartburn, anti-heartburn drugs. It's actually something that they prescribed for my daughter Lila when she was having tummy pains and we were trying to figure out what it was. They prescribed ranitidine, so I knew that it was real safe. They said even if it's not what's bothering her, it won't hurt her. So I knew it was very safe to take, so I wasn't worried about that. That has been really working and helping with sleep a lot. I do still take Unisom at night. They did say that that's okay. I have to stop taking it after she's born though, because it can decrease the milk supply. As far as everything else, I'm taking prenatal vitamins, vitamin B6, magnesium, iron. I don't know if I don't think I've told you guys yet that I was diagnosed with iron deficiency anemia. And it's interesting because I've been diagnosed with that before, when I was vegan and when I was not vegan, when I'm pregnant, when I'm not pregnant, you know. So they actually said that it might be something that's in my body, that my body just doesn't absorb iron, and if it continues to happen I should get it further tested, which I will. But for now I'm just taking an iron supplement, and that is hopefully that's helping. So this last week has been a lot better for me physically and emotionally. This last week my husband has been working a little bit closer to home. He has been working close enough to home that he can come home at night. For the last several months he wasn't coming home at night during the week, and at first, you know, it was fine. At first it was kind of nice because I was enjoying my time to myself. I didn't have to cook for extra people, and you know what I mean? It was just, I didn't feel guilty if I was like being lazy or whatever. But then real quick it got old, and it got really hard as I was dealing with more of these pregnancy symptoms and trying to keep myself together emotionally, and he wasn't home. And you know, the reason he didn't come home is because he worked so far away that it would have taken him over 2 hours to drive home, and he's got to be at work so early in the morning that it just would not have made sense. Like, it just would not have made sense for him to come home. So, you know, it was totally valid, but it was really, really hard for me, and I got really depressed. I got just really down, and it was just really, really hard. And having him home now is a lot better. Also, I feel like my energy level has increased. I think maybe just because I'm nearing the end of the pregnancy. I don't know why, honestly, but I can truly say that my energy level has increased these last maybe 2 weeks or so. I've had energy to film. I've had more energy to clean and organize and nest. I've been nesting like crazy. We got a crib set up. We got the girls' room all set up and clean, and the whole house really, pretty much, except for a pile of junk that I'm looking at right now, pretty much the whole apartment is clean and organized and ready, and it felt so good to get that done. So that was awesome. That's another thing that tends to get me down, is not being able to do things like clean. Like, I can't lift anything heavy to clean. It's hard for me to even like vacuum and stuff because we don't have a lot of space. Like, it would require moving furniture and stuff like that, and it's just a challenge for me. And so not being able to do that and depending on someone else to do that was really hard for me. And for Mike, you know, when he comes home for the weekend, like, he was really great about working on stuff and helping out with stuff, but at the same time, he's also exhausted. It's his weekend, and he doesn't, you know, and he wants to relax a little bit, and I'm all anxious here, like, let's do this stuff, let's get this stuff done before you have to leave again. And that was hard. That was hard for us, but it was definitely an experience that brought us closer together, and I feel like we, you know, it's helping prepare us for what it's going to be like to have a newborn too. Another thing that I've been having a lot of struggles with is my sort of desire to be micromanaging about like the labor and delivery, and not so much like how I'm going to be giving birth, because I know that like I just have to kind of go with the flow, see how that, you know, kind of, I can't expect everything to be perfect. I have no idea when she's going to come, and I think that's hard. That's one of the hardest things about pregnancy, is that pretty much everything else in life, it's like a big life event, like a wedding. I mean, I guess death is kind of a big life event that you can't control when it happens, but other than that, like the big things that you plan for, like we just had our wedding in October, you know, or buying a house or something like that, you can control the timeline of it and you know exactly when it's going to happen. But with birth, it's like you get so excited and you're so ready, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, when is this gonna happen? Like, now I just have to somehow not go crazy and sit here and hope that I'm ready and wait for it to happen and not overthink things, and you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard. It's different than what we're used to in life, I think. I've been finding myself dealing with a lot of concerns and worries over like what's going to happen with Lila during the delivery and during labor and things like that. Really, it depends on the situation, and I want to be in control, and I want to know that everyone around me is going to be respectful of that. And if I know that, then that eases my anxiety a little bit, because my parents especially have a tendency to kind of take over a situation, my dad especially, and do what he thinks is right in the situation without necessarily considering what I want. And I've made it clear to him that I just need him to really listen to me and really support me, because that's what I need, and that's the #1 way that he can help me. So I don't know if you guys ever experienced that with your parents, or if you're pregnant and you have somebody that you fear might be a little bit over controlling. Don't be afraid to just be honest and tell them that it's what you need to help you the most, you know, because most people like that, they just want to help. Like, that's what they're trying to do, is to help. They just sometimes can't do it or don't do it in the most helpful way. So my advice is to just tell them what you need from them, that, you know, would be the most helpful in the world, is for them to just listen to you and do whatever it is in the moment that you say that you need, and that kind of thing. I actually haven't typed out my birth plan yet. I don't really have a strict one. I am going natural as best to the best of my ability. I'm not going to get an epidural or anything like that, at least that's not the plan. That's what I did with my first pregnancy. That worked really well. One of the main reasons why I want to do that is because of the afterbirth. I got on a total high after I gave birth to Lila that lasted for, you know, a day or two, and I just felt energized. I felt that oxytocin. I felt great. Whereas I worry that coming off of hard drugs like an epidural or something, even Pitocin I'm trying to avoid, I worry that those things would make the after effects worse and would then contribute to postpartum depression, which is what I really want to avoid, of course, because, you know, the labor and delivery can hurt and be painful, but that's only a day or two. Postpartum depression can last for weeks and months and years, and I don't want that. And I know that there's no way to prevent that. I struggle with depression all the time anyways, so I'm fully aware of like how there's no guarantees. But I didn't really get postpartum depression with Lila, so I'm hoping that if I do similar to what I did then, this time I can avoid that again. I can't think of a ton else to say other than we are super excited and we are super ready. I would love to give you guys a nursery tour. I have a couple of things that I want to paint and kind of coordinate, so it might come after she's born, but I would love to do that for you guys. It's a shared nursery. Like I said, Lila is sharing her room with the baby. It feels so good to have the nursery ready. It feels so good to just have everything ready. It's just like a weight off our backs, you know? My hospital bags are all packed. That's another thing I wanted to do a video on. Maybe I'll just do a blog post on what's in my hospital bags for delivery and stuff. I think this video is long enough. If you guys have any questions at all about my pregnancy or my plans or anything like that, please let me know. A couple of you have asked about names. We do have a name picked out, but we're not going to be revealing it until after she's here, mainly just because I want to see her and meet her before I fully decide. I don't want to be committed to a name and then change my mind after I meet her, you know? It just kind of clears off any judgment, any comments that people might make that will stick in my head. And so I just have chosen, we've chosen to just keep it a secret until she is born. We are just so excited to meet her, so excited to just have this new addition to our family. I would like to thank you guys so much for all of your support, all of your responses to my Snapchats and my Instagram posts and things like that. Yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. Thank you again. Thank you for watching. Thanks for giving this a thumbs up and having your notifications turned on. I do have a back to school giveaway going on right now that you guys should totally enter if you haven't already. And I think that's everything I have to say. So I will talk to you guys again very soon. Bye.